Hello everyone and welcome back to Tanya Files. Now, if you're familiar with my other channel, the MJ Innocent podcast, you would recognize these canvases. Now, the reason why I'm showing them in this video is because something happened on Instagram earlier today, and it's making me believe more and more that we should have laws in the US when it comes to kids being on social media. Now, if I remember correctly, I think it was Australia where anyone under 16 is not allowed to be on social media. And I really think that that's a good thing, because I don't understand why teenagers or kids who are not even teenagers feel like they need to be on social media. Because I grew up in the 90s. We didn't have social media back then. I didn't join social media until I was in my 20s. And yes, to be fair, there are adults who shouldn't be on social media either. But anyway, last night I made a funny video for my MJ channel. And since I have an MJ Instagram account, and also I have an Instagram account for this channel as well, I tried to send the video I made last night to a few group chats that I'm in, because even though I'm not a fan of group chats, I always try to think of them as a way of, letting people know that I posted a new video or something like that, and I think it has helped at times. And normally I'm added into group chats, usually by friends in the community. So I was under the impression that all the group chats I'm in are MJ related, which a lot of them are, but I guess maybe this one in particular, it isn't, but I don't know. So I sent the video to this specific group chat, and the first message that appeared below the video in the chat was, "Why is this bitch only active when she's posting Michael Jackson stuff in this chat?" And I was like, I apologize, but calling me a bitch was not necessary. And they replied saying, "You are a bitch." And of course they said the letter U instead of the actual word U. And so I was like, okay, you're being very immature. And so the arguing, I wasn't really going to waste my time with this person. I'm like, you could be a little nicer. And he was like, how about you shut the F up, bitch? And I was like, what is your problem? I didn't even do anything to you. And this person replied saying, yes, you did. I was like, okay, what did I do? And he was like, shut up, bitch. Shut up, bitch. I'm like, yeah, you just proved my point that, because I haven't spoken to that person before. I rarely say anything in the group chats. I will usually post a video. And in my experience in the group chats, there are times when I see things that I'm not interested in looking at. But do you see me calling that person a bitch? No. I just ignore it. And then I found out from someone else that allegedly the person who was saying that stuff to me was a kid. And I was like, well, that explains a lot. It's probably one of those kids where the parents have absolutely no control over them and they can do whatever they want, say whatever they want, and be as rude and obnoxious as they want. And believe me, that makes me sick to my stomach. And I said to this person, and let's just go on the record. I don't know if this individual is a kid or not, but based on the way they were acting, I think it is a safe bet. And also, I just want to make it very clear that on Instagram, you don't really know everyone's ages, but obviously I'm not going to post anything that would be inappropriate. I want to make that very clear. So I told this person that they need to grow up and they need to be nicer. And they were back saying, maybe you should learn to keep your fucking mouth shut. I'm like, Oh my gosh. Like, it really aggravates me that whenever I see kids like this, you'll usually see the parents saying, like, oh, just let the kids be kids. That's like saying, let the adults be adults. It doesn't make sense. As a child, you're supposed to love and discipline, not abuse, but discipline your children so they don't misbehave. And believe me, like, let's just say, for example, that this person is a kid, okay? I don't know what their problem is. I mean, if they're an MJ hater, well, then just ignore it. You know, like, I literally did nothing to that person to give them the right to call me a bitch. But like I said, they're probably one of those entitled brats. So I did report that person. I don't know if Instagram is going to do anything about it. I am thinking about leaving that group chat because I don't want to be disrespected like that. Because I literally tried to change the subject a little later and said, is everyone ready for Christmas? And a different person responded saying, STFU. Which means shut the fuck up. And I was like, okay. Apparently everyone took their bitchy pills today. So I think I'm going to leave that group chat because, you know, I'm not going to be disrespected, especially from a little brat. You know, no one is going to talk to me like that. And then to make it worse, because originally I was going to show you the messages that were in the group chat, but I can't because not only are they saying like a bunch of F-bombs and calling me a bitch, the same people are also throwing around the N-word. And I have no idea if they're white or black, you know, and yeah, and I'm pretty sure YouTube would flag my video if I did that, so I'm not going to take that risk. So I think that there should be punishment, you know, and I know that not all kids are like this. There are some who are actually mature for their age. It's rare, unfortunately, nowadays. But I feel like if you're not going to behave on social media, then your account should be terminated. Now, do I think that there should be a law in the U.S. to prevent kids from under the age of 16 to be on social media? Well, like I said, it depends. Because the other day I was watching an episode of Dr. Phil on YouTube, and there was a 7-year-old girl who is blind, and she has a social media account, but she is an inspirational speaker, and she's actually very nice and pleasant. So it just depends. But this individual, like, I really don't know what their problem is. But someone else in the group chat said that this person is always like this. So that's really sad. So I think for the safety of my mental health, I am going to leave that group chat, you know. And also, before I forget, there was one thing that really pissed me off because this individual said, I bet you're one of those Michael Jackson fans who is disabled. And I gave that comment the angry face emoji. And then they wrote back saying, why did you give my comment the angry face emoji? I'm like, seriously? I mean, so what that I have a disability? What does that have to do with the fact that you called me a bitch for literally no reason? All I did was share my video in the group chat. I didn't say anything to you specifically. So all I can say is, if that child grew up in the same way that I did, they would be spanked. You know, and I'll make a separate video talking about spanking kids because I know some people don't have an issue with it and some people do. But if your child is going to act like that, I would definitely not get away with it. My parents didn't tolerate stuff like that, and I'm not going to tolerate it either. Now, if I had a child, which unfortunately I don't, but if I did, and they had a social media account and they were talking to people like that when they literally did nothing to them, not only would I spank them and ground them and take away, phone, tablet, and all this other stuff, I would even remove their social media accounts. And to anyone who says, that sounds a little brutal, no. It's called discipline. When you choose the action, you choose the consequences. That's something that Dr. Phil says in his episodes all the time. So, it is a shame that child, I guess, is not going to learn a lesson from this, but when they're older, they'll probably learn it the hard way. So, okay. So that's basically what I have to say about this. Do you guys think there should be a law where there's an age limit to when people can be on social media? Because like I said, it depends on how mature the child is. So, but if you're going to spread hatred and violent comments and all this other stuff, I feel like there should be consequences for that, because even though I did report some comments, there was one person who I did not report, and they literally said, whoever reported me, you should kill yourself. And I reported them for that. Because saying stuff like that is never okay. And ironically, last month was Suicide Prevention Month. So, I don't know. Those are basically my thoughts on this. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. And, to anyone who is a parent and might have a teenager, just remember, until they're 18, you have control over them. You pay for their phone. You can see what they're doing on social media. And I know some people have issues with that too, saying it's a violation of privacy. Well, I wasn't on social media as a teenager, but I can assure you that, I don't know if my parents would look at what I was doing on there if I was on there as a teenager, but I can say that I would be curious if I had a teenager. It just depends. And if they misbehaved, bye-bye, social media. All right, so let me know how you guys feel about this. I'll see you in the next episode.